If at first you don't succeed, try again. Or in this specific situation, if you want to make quiche unsalted, whinge about it for 4 years and eventually your mates will give in.
This is one of my favourites, and it starts with pastry from flour, butter and a secret ingredient, poppy seeds. Our flavours come from bacon, leek, parsley and goat's cheese and a filling of eggs and cream to make it super luxurious.
This is one of my favourites. Tell the truth.
What? It is one of my favourites.
This is your absolute favourite.
I love it.
Ever.
A good quiche is brilliant, and I'll show you why. It starts off with pastry, which we're going to make from scratch. So you're going to get involved with this. Flour going into a bowl with cold diced butter. And then with your fingertips, just rub it in until you've got a consistency of breadcrumbs. Generous pinch of salt, and then all it needs is cold water to bring that together into a very simple pastry. However, we asked you guys what should we do with our ultimate quiche, and you said don't forget about the pastry. It's as important as all the rest. So we're going to add in a couple of tablespoons of poppy seeds.
This is a great idea. So were the poppy seeds a suggestion from the community?
The suggestion was we shouldn't overlook the pastry, and that we should make it a bit more special by adding in some spices or some herbs or some flavours. And I thought poppy seed, great, because it looks good.
Good texture.
Texture and flavour.
Yeah, it's amazing.
With your hand, just bring it together. You don't want to knead it. And then as soon as it's come together into one lump, you need to let it rest in the fridge for at least half an hour, because basically you've just been sort of stretching out all that gluten, rubbing in all the butter. So just let it rest and relax. And after half an hour or so, you end up with a perfect pastry to roll. Now, top tips for rolling out pastry: a floured surface. And you want to keep it round. Obviously, we're putting it into a fluted quiche tin. We asked you guys whether to do individual quiches or a nice big one, and you guys said big, so that's what we're going for. And you're looking for about the thickness of ½ centimetre. Once you're happy that it's a pretty even thickness and big enough for your tin, then a little more dusting of flour, and if you just lift it onto there, and the best way to do that, no, roll it around the pin.
Oh yeah.
Gentle, 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 gentle. The tin comes in, lift it and lay it over. And then because your pastry is nice and cold, what you can essentially do is just lift it up and ease it into those edges.
As I represent the beginner, what happens if you do break it?
You can just patch up the gaps a little bit,
Yep.
but you don't want to
Just tear a
re-roll
bit
it
and
too
then-
many times, because the more times you roll it, the tougher it'll get and it'll become chewy pastry rather than lovely, crisp, short pastry.
So I can just patch it up like a puncture.
Cool. As soon as you're happy that it's fully lined, what we want to do is trim off excess pastry. So not right down to the top of the tin, but just all the excess that will burn. To bake it blind, we're going to put greaseproof paper, which I've literally just scrunched up, into the base of our quiche and fill it with ceramic beans. So these are just literally beans of ceramic, which means they get hot and they help to cook it from the top down, plus they weigh it down.
Do you know how I know that these are ceramic baking beans? Because once I thought they were wasabi peas and tried to eat one.
Now this goes into an oven at 200 degrees Celsius for 10 minutes, at which point we'll take out the greaseproof paper and all the beans and cook it for a further 5. But in the meantime, we can look at the filling. The fillings we're going for is bacon. I'm going to start chopping this up. Can you do the same with the leek?
Yep, just like peel this a little bit.
Basically, take off that bit and that bit, and then all of the rest you can slice down the middle and slice up into small pieces.
Cool.
You can do pretty much anything. You can keep it vegetarian if you don't want the bacon, although you guys said that bacon was pretty key in a quiche, so that's why we're doing it.
I like bacon in the quiche because it sort of gives it some sort of credibility. Weight.
Well, something like a quiche Lorraine would traditionally have sort of ham and cheese in it anyway, so they are traditional flavours. The bacon, start to fry that off, and once it's started to fry off, we can add in our leeks. In the meantime, you can also chop up some...
I'll wait for the leeks.
Yeah, you wait for the leeks. In the meantime, you can also chop up some parsley, nice and fine, and I'm going to grate a little bit of cheese. So just some cheddar to start off with. As soon as the bacon has started to cook through, the leeks can go in.
Okay.
Because they're raw, they'll need a couple of minutes as well to soften and sweeten up. So parsley done, cheese done. Next up, you're on to eggs, Mike. So 6 eggs, lots of protein.
I mean, there's 6 eggs.
Well, remember this is going to serve 8, so it's not even an egg each. Season it well with salt and pepper. Remember, there's a bit of salt in our pastry, and the bacon can be a little salty, so not too much, but plenty of black pepper. And then in with double cream. And as it cooks, the eggs are going to set that into almost like a savoury custard. The filling's good. You don't want to put too much air into it, just as long as it's fully combined, so we can get rid of our whisk.
Cool.
Leek and bacon now cooked. All that's left to do is take our goat's cheese, another brilliant suggestion by you guys, and we'll dot that onto our quiche just before it goes back into the oven. Now, what you can do is 2 options.
Okay.
You can either put all your filling in, bake it off, and then trim just before you serve it, or with a serrated knife now, you can go round and trim it at this stage.
Okay.
Either or. Personally, I think it's better to trim it later.
Well, I trust you.
Leek and bacon onto the bottom of our quiche. Scatter some of our cheddar cheese on the base.
Is there a reason why we haven't just chucked everything in there and then poured everything in there?
I think this just makes it easier because then you get an even distribution, make sure there's bacon everywhere. If you slop it all in, A, you're more likely to make a mess, B, the filling might not be quite evenly distributed. So I think that's a better way of doing it. And then we can pour all of our filling in and over. You can ladle it in if you want to be a bit more careful or put it into a jug.
Nah, just pour it.
Or just pour it all in. A few dots of our beautiful goat cheese on top. If you open up the oven, I'll slide this straight in. We turn it down to 160 degrees Celsius and it needs 45 minutes until it's cooked with a slight wobble. Take it out, let it cool completely, trim around the edges, and quiche will be good to serve. There we go, 45 minutes in the oven, nice golden brown finish.
How happy are you with
Another
that?
45 minutes for it to cool. I love serving quiche just a little bit warm. I think quiche is ruined as soon as you put it in the fridge.
Okay.
So hot or cold is fine, but don't let it chill. So you can let it go completely cold to room temperature.
At room temperature.
It's absolutely fine.
Isn't that cold?
The important thing is, cut right the way through that nice crisp pastry, and that's what you're looking for. I am chuffed with that. It is our ultimate quiche with a little bit of help and guidance from you, sorted.
Oh, that's really good. Oh, really good.
Smoky bacon, sweet leek, and the pastry, the poppy seed.
The poppy seeds make it.
It's good. It's a buttery, crumbly pastry.
Now you've seen how excited Ben's got over this quiche. Why don't you comment below and let us know what food excites you, what's your favourites? Come on, let's have a conversation.